Welcome to ShadowMeTarot. We've got another unboxing today. I'm actually very excited about this one. This deck is way too expensive for what it is. It's super thin. It's only it's like $40 for a major arcana deck, which is just ridiculous if you ask me. That's too much money. But I was so intrigued by the pictures and so intrigued by the meanings on those images that I was like, this is a good addition to my major arcana decks. I have a few of them now. And if you ask, I mean, that's the original deck, but if you ask me, like, I don't know, it's a good way to start a reading sometimes. Oh, this is a pretty nice box. It's a high gloss box here. It says Whispering Bones Elemental Oracle inspired by the Tarot Major Arcana, created by Dany Lyne, illustrated by Dana Weeks. Unlock the healing potential of the elemental spirits with this oracle card deck and guidebook. This beautifully illustrated deck offers you an innovative fusion of tarot and traditional Chinese medicine to energize your self-inquiry and exploration of the great mystery. Meet the teachings of the tarot in an unfettered major arcana, free of patriarchal, Christian, imperialist, and gender-specific lenses, and behold the insights of the elemental spirits of wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. In this methodical layering of two formidable healing traditions. Designed in Canada, printed in China, and this immediately is giving me the reminder of the body tarot, because this actually has 5 elements and it does work with metal. What was it? Earth, fire, metal, water, and wood. Metal is like it's like another earth one, but you need fire in order to make metal. So I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so pretty thick book for 22 cards. I'm not gonna lie. This has quite a bit of information on here. I feel like the book is nice. It goes over the 5 elements, physical, emotional realms, initiating. Oh, these are the spiritual realm. Let's see. And then it goes through the elements. So it looks like there's quite a bit here. There's definitely, and then some card spreads as well. So this is definitely a new way of looking at it, or a condensed way of looking at it. I don't know. Other people look at it. Other decks look at it this similar way, just like the body tarot here, in terms of the elements. But how this book is structured is different. And some of the symbolism and stuff on here is interesting. But we'll go ahead and start with this one. This is the opening, which is the Fool card. And again, this is a very nice book to kind of have it stored. The cards are kind of thin. I'm not going to deny it. Let's see. If I take, this one's got a good card stock. This is another major arcana deck. I think it has like 3 extra cards. Yeah, it's a thin. I'm going to say that. Yes, this is a thin card stock. It's a thinner card stock. It's not a 21. You know, it's not 21, or it's not more than 22 cards. So getting stuck there. Okay, here we go. All right, so thin cardstock, larger kind of oracle style cards. 0 for the Fool card is the opening, and I need my trusty tarot deck. Okay, now that we've kind of set up here, I kind of looked through the book a little bit, and it looks like up until number 7, it really goes through the elements very much in this. But it looks like through card number 7, which is... I should know this. Lovers, Chariot, Strength, Chariot. So 0 through the Chariot, they are saying, is in the physical and emotional realm. And then we'll just kind of do it as we get through them. But these first 7 are the emotional realm, the physical and emotional realm. So this says, opening. So it almost feels like diving into the depths of your emotion if I'm thinking of it that way. I may even think of this as kind of like a mental health card, simply because we are diving into the depth of the water, completely naked without our flesh, and we see the clouds and stuff in the background. Traditionally, the Fool has always been kind of like a new beginning, but let's see what it says in this deck here. The very first card. It says card 0 for opening element is the 5 elements. It's yang and solar. The cycle is physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And in the tarot, this is the Fool. The alchemical magic of the 5 elemental spirits graces you with this rambunctious yang and solar medicine. Your spirit soars above the mundane and survival humdrum of daily life. You are inspired and riotous, even if need be. You push against all parameters and constraints like a snake rubs against a rock to shed an old skin, and spring out of water structures with glee. And spring out of whatever strictures with glee. It's a spontaneous velvet revolution fueled by a carefree and spur-of-the-moment impulse to have faith in yourself and the world. Why not? Why not explore a deeper sense of purpose and meaning? If this is the wood, if you're reading it for the wood. If you're reading for the fire, move eagerly from the heart rather than from thought. Earth, engage imaginatively with the abundance on offer. Why not embrace for metal? Why not embrace your dignity and your birthright to be you? And for water, why not soften into the sparkly darkness within? There's absolutely no good reason not to, and you sure as hell can't think of one just now. You are blessed and fueled by a grace to soar and be yourself, your magnificent true self. Something is telling you that you are safe, you are loved, and you are sacred. And you are a sacred channel for the love inherently streaming through all aspects of reality as you know it. Hence, the impulse to explore new territory and dive headlong into the sacred mystery is irresistible. I can't tell if this has been translated from another language or if the writing style is so different than my own, I'm having trouble reading it. Hence, the impulse to explore new territory and dive headlong into the sacred mystery is irresistible. You can't help but audaciously leap into a new body, a new life, a new journey. What the heck? It's not like you really know or will ever know the inner workings of the mystery anyway. What's the point of calculating and micromanaging and guarding against an ever-present energy and flow? Somehow the sun rises every morning, and so does your true self, for eternity. The answer to that riddle is in your heart of hearts. In this moment, it doesn't really matter so much because you're happy and full of beans and going with it. This has definitely been translated from another language. It has to be. My writing style can't be that different that I can't read this. Okay, so the affirmation here, it says, don't bother sweating the small stuff. Dream audaciously, love bravely, and express boldly. Live. I don't know. This author has a new way of... It's just got a different writing style I'm going to have to get used to. So anyways, here's the opening. I don't really feel like I got a good answer as to what this... So I guess and I think that the thing that's kind of confusing, wood, fire, earth, and metal. Wood is fire, right? And earth is kind of like metal. So I don't know, just kind of saying. I am excited to use this deck. I'm just gonna have to read about it a lot more. All right, so moving on. Opening. Initiating. Well, this is a magnificent, this is magnificent for manifestation, right? He's planting the seed, and literally you can see that how a root is going to sprout and grow into a large tree or something. So that's interesting. I do very much feel like, getting started is planting the seed, right? Just making the decision to do something, then meditating, thinking about it. How are you going to get there? You have these lotus flowers kind of going in there. coming in or out of the head here. This figure looks like they are in an ocean of emotion. I almost feel like getting into alignment and feeling your emotions to be in alignment is what I'm kind of feeling here for this meditation. Feeling is the Empress, or 3 here. 4 is discerning, which is the Emperor. It has it has root chakra colors for sure. I always think of the Emperor as being the foundation, and we do kind of have to discern like what things go into our foundation and what things don't go into our foundation. And I think the discerning of what you believe, your belief system, you're discerning, what works for you and what kind of doesn't. We see fire elements in here as well. Then we have aligning, which is the Hierophant. And this is definitely a yoga pose here. 6 is nurturing, the Lovers, and you can see it is 2 rib cages face to face in an embrace. Manifesting. Manifesting is actually making things happen moving forward, right? Where I usually think of the Magician as manifesting. The Magician is really initiating, right? He's just kind of saying the spell. He's just saying the words to the spell. It's not manifesting until things start moving around. And I almost feel like here is the Magician, and he's got the 5 elements, and he's making them move now. So he's bringing them into existence. I like how the back of this card too has like a key, like the key to the journey. The balancing of the yin and the yang, and the utilization of all of the elements. All right. Number 8 is engaging, strength. And this feels very much like inner strength because of the way he's standing in front of that tree. How tall that tree is, how thick the trunk of that tree is, and completely balanced. And I believe this next section of cards is in the mental realm. So these are going to be things, that we think about, I guess. Am I strong enough? Maybe, I don't know. Then we have withdrawing, which is our Hermit. Another meditative kind of card here. And perceiving, which is the Wheel of Fortune. I find it interesting that we've got creative leaves from maybe the Empress cards earlier in this one. We also have what looks like, it's concentric circles, but it almost looks like a labyrinth with the person in the center, right? It almost feels like this cocooned kind of person has figured out a way to like pull from outside of itself to maybe have a plant grow, I guess. I don't know. I almost feel like there is kind of like that sensation or a feeling of like when you see a seed start to shed the shell. So it's just a seedling that's kind of like just popping out in the dirt and, just like a little sprout. It does really kind of feel like a sprout for me, this picture. All right, and then we've got 11 is reckoning. So this definitely feels like the Justice card. We have some sacred geometry in the center here. We've got the black and the white for the yin and the yang for fairness. We've got a third eye for intuition. There's quite a bit of symbolism actually in this geometric shape here. We've got a triangle. We've got a cube in the center of that. The triangle can also be viewed as a pyramid. We've also got concentric circles. We've got a decahedron, I think is what that thing is. Is that what that is? A decahedron? I'm looking to see actually if that is. Oh no, it's an icosahedron. An icosahedron is, I think, what that is right there. I don't know how well you can kind of see it. Kind of move in a little bit here for you. And kind of. That's a lot of, if you know sacred geometry and you kind of like, what things are you pulling from that image? I love the yin and the yang. I love the death or the skull or the hand holds in its hand, the darkness, I guess. I don't know. It's just kind of, these are just very interesting images. But I do like the use of color. I like the use of symbolism, the use of geometry, fire. All of these things make these pretty amazing cards, even for $40 for 22 cards. All right. So for justice, we have reckoning, right? Somehow somebody's going to answer for what they've done. Or they're going to have an answer for what they've done. Here's trusting, the hangman. I always think of the hangman as shifting my perspective, but kind of letting go and just trusting whatever outcome. Things that we kind of lose or elements that we've lost. Even though he is still upside down, he's no longer hanging by a tree limb. He's hanging by both feet, so we lose. This is a Freemason symbol. I believe it's I think it's supposed to represent like the triangle and the compass, or like so you can determine degrees. I can't remember what that thing is called. But what is that thing called? Like a protractor or something like that. Anyways, I know that this has to do with the Freemasons and building and determining angles, and measuring angles. I think it's a protractor, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that that's what that represents. Protractor and compass. I don't know. Anyway, it's missing from this. This is a fire card, even though that this is in the realm of, I think, the mental part of the deck. Yeah, the mental realm. Inspiring. I just kind of feel like it's I almost feel like it's like kind of reframing your thoughts and trusting the outcome, that everything you've done before this card is working out for you. All right, then we've got 13, surrendering. Ooh, interesting that they use 13, surrendering, as death. I've always thought of death as a transformation card, and I've always thought of the Hanged Man as the surrendering card. But we do have to surrender to change in order to make it happen. And you can see that this body is surrendering to the different faces it must wear, I guess, across lifetimes. There's a bunch of crystals down here. It looks like there's some, I want to say they're like tattoo type birds in the sky here, if that would be really a sky. There's a flower of life here in the center that is separating the body and the heads. So there's a whole lot kind of happening here. The book is saying that it really is surrendering to the mystery, right? Is really what it is. 13, or the death card, is surrendering to the temporary condition of life and just trusting. Well, this card is very similar to the backside of the card. I mean, that almost looks like a continuation of the front side. But for 14, it's temperance, which typically means staying in balance. And this here says it's transcendence. And I like the idea of transcendence in the sense that his feet are on the ground. His head is in the clouds. So he's able, from this physical place, transcend into the ether. And if I'm not mistaken, this brings us into the third realm of this deck, which is the spiritual realm. No, I'm wrong. It's still in the mental realm. The next card, number 15. Our devil card is getting into the spiritual realm. So here we've got confronting. Ooh, confronting our demons. And here we've got a skull. I don't know if you can see, but his hands are covering his face. He's just covering his face, doesn't want to confront his demons. They can take deep roots into our lives, right? The things that are untrue about ourselves, that we believe, can definitely take, create deep roots. And we don't want to look at them because that's so much to root out, right? Very interesting cards. We've got releasing for the Tower. No attachment to anything, not your life, not your bones, nothing. Just kind of, I get a ketamine feel. I had to take ketamine when I broke my ankle, and I almost want to feel like it feels like that. Like I thought I was dead. I thought I was dying, to be honest with you. I was in the hospital, mind you. The doctor actually administered it to me. But yeah, what an existential experience that was. And it definitely feels like this, like your physical self just completely drops away into your spiritual self. So that's just what this reminded me of. And it's interesting that they've got all this color around, it almost feels like the pollution halo you get around the moon in the winter time. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but where I'm at sometimes in the winter months, where I'm at, the mountains kind of keep the pollution in, and so you get this halo around the moon. So I almost feel like it's the things that pollute your life, maybe. I don't know. Then we have the Star integrating. And this star has integrated, let's see, it has, what do they call it? A parasitic embryo over here attached to this plant. The plant is growing out, or the body is growing out of the feet, right? The body is these plants, and it's growing out of the feet here. And then you have this, like, I don't know, like there's a skeleton in like water, or just kind of separated below here, but it does kind of feel like water. There's an arm up here, there's an arm down here, and then there's this this face with the third eye kind of represented as well. It does very much feel like the integration of the spiritual form with the physical form. I almost feel like the bones more represent the water here. Very interesting deck for sure. Very interesting artwork. Then we have the moon seeing. And this moon looks kind of angry, but so does this one, if you ask me. And you've got the full face of the moon with the same geometric shape that you see in the card. Which other card was that? It was this one, number 11, the Justice card. Very similar coloring as well. So I feel like some of these backgrounds have been repurposed. But the moon, even the face, I almost say that the face is about the same as well in that moon. But the geometry is the same. The third eye is represented, and it does very much feel like kind of getting into your kind of shining a light on the darker areas, right? Because you almost see the shadow of the skeleton. So I think it kind of rings true in the sense that you're dealing with shadow, your shadow side, shining a light on your shadow side. Then we have awakening for the sun. And then we have rising is the judgment card here. And we've got the yin and the yang represented again. So this one is for judgment, enlightenment. I'm really feeling for that. And then the world, dancing. We've got our yin and the yang, and inside the flower of life, we've got some more geometry kind of happening around here. We've got all the elements around. This has all of the elements. It's a spiritual card. And let's see, the 5 elemental spirits in this yang expression revel in your opportunity to dance with the gods of wisdom and behold the great unity and wholeness. You are offered an experiential knowing of unconditionality and love. Your inner and outer world, self and other, become a single entity. You convincingly recognize that your individual self is profoundly linked to all other living beings and that we all dance to one rhythm. Experiencing this knowing is the harbinger of major and inexorable change. In some traditions, this state is described as enlightenment or nirvana. Like Shiva, god of life, death, and rebirth, you flow with the constant ecstatic dance of being, creation, preservation, destruction, and liberation. It's a state of grace rather than one of exploit. You flow with the dance of life, mysterious yet ever-moving and cycling. When your motivations are aligned with the will of the cosmos, stay active and keep flowing. It's unnecessary to interrupt your spontaneity with calculation. Even if you commit an error, it will be turned to the greater good. Rather than look for consensus or affirmation from others, simply dance the dance. Express yourself freely and observe outcomes rather than try to control or produce results. What matters is your intentional alignment and evolution. Whether or not human beings approve is less important. Although liberation is an aspiration, a shimmering oasis of bliss, hope, and insightful manifestation, the full meaning of this card is unknowable. Nevertheless, the path to that state of grace, the steps, rhythm, and music of the dance, lies in the generosity of the guidance offered by the elemental spirits, the major arcana, and many mystical practices around the world. Set some time aside to review the guidance in the cards. Let's see. Okay, so that is that card. I suppose we should shuffle these and do a card or a deck interview. So let's start that now. All right, let's give these guys a shuffle. It is a little harder to shuffle these smaller decks for sure. Shuffle's all right though. I do wish it was a full tarot deck and not just the major arcana, but I think what was done is well done. The cards are relatively smooth. I think the artwork itself is matte, but I don't think, well, they're not glossy, but they're not so matte that they stick together. All right, I think this deck is ready to talk. I do. What personality does this deck have? And I just popped one card out. The manifesting personality. This is the Chariot to help you kind of get moving, right? And then we can look at what is your strength? What is this deck's strength? Oh. Ooh, digging out those shadows, kind of confronting your step. And what is your weakness? What is the weakness of this deck? Dancing. So I guess it can't live it up for us. Can't complete anything for us. Can't do the work for us, right? How will you help me to grow? How will you help me to grow? By engaging. This feels like by engaging my inner strength, right? The whole purpose of this deck is confronting yourself and aligning yourself with the elemental spirits, right? At least that's how I'm taking this deck. So I do feel like bringing yourself, like kind of rooting out this stuff and finding your own inner strength to probably manifest, you know, the life you want for yourself or for me. When should I call on you for guidance? When should I call on you for guidance? When should I call on you for guidance? Oh, it flew out. Ooh. Integrating. Probably when I'm trying to, integrating for me just feels like when I'm trying to integrate something that's uncomfortable or new into my life. So I'm going to read the affirmation just to kind of describe this card. It says, transforming energy from the great mystery into physical form and bearing sacred medicine for others is a function of being a physical creature. It's not a privilege, it's a birthright. I really feel like integrating is a word for acceptance. Accepting your own inner strength, confronting your inner demons. I feel like this is integrating, is accepting. I feel like this is very much about accepting yourself. And that's when I should call on these cards for guidance, is when I'm having trouble accepting myself. That's kind of what I feel like, because this is it uses solar plexus colors. It has solar plexus, it refers to the solar plexus chakra, I guess, when in the definition of this card as well, because it says yang and solar. But it does talk about birthright energy, happiness is your birthright kind of thing. So I do kind of feel like, after you've confronted kind of your demons and rooted out some of the stuff that doesn't serve you, and releasing it, finding your inner strength and integrating those things to your highest good, or just basically loving and accepting yourself. What's the best way to work with you? What is the best way to work with you? What is the best way to work with you? All right. Initiating, planting the seed. And it landed kind of in between this manifesting and confronting. So I almost feel like it's when you're ready to kind of move forward on letting something go. And even shining a light on these dark roots. We've got dark roots here, and we really only need, the one, the one deep one, right? So I do kind of feel like the best way to work with this deck is in rooting out some of those non-beneficial core beliefs, is what I'm feeling. And what will our relationship be like? Oh. Seeing the moon, looking at myself for exactly who I am and accepting myself. That's kind of really what I'm getting from this deck. I definitely feel like this is a journey into self deck. I think that was the purpose of it when it was written. This is a fire. This is yin. This is the feminine. This is feminine and it's fire. And just the mantra it says, or the affirmation says, rest assured, seeing ultimately brings peace and leads you back to radiant love. So I think that the whole purpose of this deck is, or the relationship I would have with this deck, is that it's going to lead me back to seeing the beautiful human that I truly am and being able to accept it as I am. I believe there's a lot of self-worth and the birthright of happiness in this deck as well. So I do definitely feel like this is, it holds true to its description of being a deck to encourage, I think most tarot decks anyways, but definitely the journey into self. This is a useful tool for that. Beautiful, amazing pictures. Let me know which one you liked and what resonated for you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so you see when my videos come out, when I come out with new videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful, blessed day.